Gladiator versus Wicked. This is not completely straightforward, I don't think, because both had amazing parts about them. Obviously, Wicked's a musical, Gladiator is not a musical. So I can't compare music, musicality, any of that. Overall, though, they're both amazing movies, both worth watching. Gladiator 2, by the way. But there is obviously a clear winner. When it came to the acting portion of things, they both did well, but I really don't think anyone can hold a flame to Denzel Washington. His character and just the development of him becoming a villain, when you think he's like a good guy trying to help the gladiator and trying to like work his way through, that was the manipulation, the almost lack of pity for other people, just all of it was portrayed so well over such a short span. I mean, it's not a very long movie, but in the span of that movie, he was able to develop a character, and no one can develop a character like Denzel. I mean, you can come close, you can try. So, in Wicked, you had your two main characters. You saw their personality, but it's not the same thing as constructing a character from the ground up and just twisting their whole personality into a web of where you don't really know what's going on. Like, it wasn't a mystery movie, but you weren't sure really what he was going to do next. It kept you guessing, it kept you on your feet. Whereas Wicked was very predictable because it's a musical, because it's Disney, because it's, because of what it is, you can predict how that movie's going to go, especially because we all grew up with The Wizard of Oz. We know the direction all of that is going to go. But when it came to the actual effects and things like that, Wicked was kind of better. The scene where they introduced the male lead and he's kind of just showing his charisma and raising all these girls up, raising all the guys up. It's just so just charged with energy. That scene was more entertaining than a lot of the scenes in the Gladiator movie. And that's just one scene. But you could see the set and the effort that went through the entire set. Whereas the Gladiator movie had to use a lot of CGI for the sharks. So its big wow scenes were CGI heavy. And you didn't get a ton of CGI heavy scenes in Wicked, which I would say would kind of put Wicked above Gladiator in that realm. In terms of twists and stuff, they were both kind of even. I wouldn't say that either was more shocking than the other, because once you kind of got to the climax of it, you knew what was going to happen in both. You knew that she was going to get rejected. You knew that she was going to get banished or had to go on her way. And you also knew old boy was going to win in the Gladiator scene. The only big twist was his mom dying. But other than that, there was no giant twist. I mean, once Denzel's character was shown, you just weren't sure what he was going to do next. But overall, Wicked was a more entertaining watch. Like, when you left the theater, Wicked was something I was like, this is worth mentioning. This is worth telling people about it. Whereas with Gladiator, I left and I said, that was a really good movie. It held up to the first, but I wasn't going to go shout it from the rooftops and recommend it to a ton of people. I recommend it to my friends that were, dudes that would have liked that movie. But the audience that the Gladiator 2 was going to reach was not going to be as high as the audience that Wicked was going to reach. Again, the only downside, which I said this in my short, the only downside to Wicked is that it's a 2-part movie. It feels a little like a money grab because the musical itself is only 2.5 hours. Why is the movie 2 hours and 40 minutes? And maybe it's because of that character development, but still, what Denzel was able to do in his 2.5 hours developed his character more vastly than what they're going to be able to do with these other characters in a 5-hour showing of a story. And I think that's just the downside to, I don't know if it's just a money thing. They knew the first movie would be a success, but the fact they're releasing at the same time next year seems almost like it was more strategic than it really was needed. It's kind of my take on it. But overall, Wicked was better. Wicked was more entertaining to watch from a movie perspective, from the fact that the music, a lot of Gladiator 2 was exposition and plot building, and the most entertaining parts of the movie was when Denzel was on the screen. I don't even know the lead male's role, like his name. I don't even remember his name in the movie. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks, but it's hard for me to recall that. It's just that was kind of lackluster. Whereas Russell Crowe just had that captivating energy. He did not match up to Russell Crowe. And I think because it was a sequel, maybe that's why it was a little bit harder to do. But Wicked wasn't full of all that just dry exposition where you're just waiting for the next exciting thing to happen. Whereas Gladiator, you just waited. Overall, both movies were great, but again, I'd say Wicked was a 9.5 out of 10, whereas Gladiator was like a 7.5 out of 10. Still an incredible movie, still worth seeing, but it's probably something that's going to do really well once it gets out of theaters, whereas Wicked's going to have an incredible box office run all the way through the holiday season. If you guys disagree, let me know. I'm not hating on either movie. I think it was a great way to end 2024. There was a lot of decent movies this year, but November definitely was the strongest movie month of the year, and it had these huge movies that came out, and it did justice. It did well, and I'm excited because it had been lacking. October, September, horrible movie months. So we'll see if 2025 is any good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you later.